Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the English news from Djibouti channels. Here are the top stories of our editions tonight. President of the Republic received Deputy Director General of the WTO. On international news, agreement for an exchange of hundreds of prisoners between parties in Yemen. Welcome if you join us on Djibouti channel. The President of the Republic received this morning the Director General of the Organization of Trade. This meeting was held in the Palace of Presidents, and the directors and the president discussed the ways and means to straighten and to secure the trade sectors. After his interview with the head of state, Mr. Alan Wolf told the press his expressions. He said like this:
Of Djibouti as a leader in this region, with an idea to create greater economic growth and greater peace because of raising the level of the standard of living of the peoples of this area through commerce. And Djibouti is at the crossroads of the commerce of not only this entire region, but Africa and across the Red Sea to the countries on the other side of the water. So we talked about this is a time of reform. It's a time of change. And Djibouti is leading. It hosted a meeting this week that was extremely important of acceding countries, meaning those countries that want to come into the WTO and integrate their economies into the world economy. And Djibouti has, as the only member in this region of the WTO, is showing the way forward. So it was very encouraging. The President is very engaged and understands clearly what the needs are of Djibouti and of the region.
The Prime Minister, Mr. Abdulkadir Kamil Mohammed, and the Minister Delegate for Trade and in close cooperations with the World Trade Organizations yesterday launched a meeting at the Camp Iski Hotel Regional Consultative Meeting on the accessions of Horn of Africa countries. Delegations came from Ethiopia, Somalia, Sudan, as well as South Sudan and Comoros lands are attending the meeting. Several members of the government attended the opening sessions of this meeting, is scheduled to continue until 6 December. In addition to the Minister Delegate for Trade and responsible for small and medium companies, Mr. Hassan Muhammad Ibrahim also took part in the opening session for the consultations meeting. Mrs. Mumina Muhammad Hassan, Minister of Women and Family, as well as Mr. Alan Wolf, Deputy Director General of the Organization of the International Organizations of Trade, and many other coordinators of UN agencies in Djibouti, like Mr. Barbara Menza. In his opening speech at this consultations meeting, the Minister Delegate for Trade, Mr. Hassan Muhammad Ibrahim, stressed that trade, the free movement of people and goods, is strengthening the fraternal and peaceful relations between people and country. The Prime Minister Abdulkadir Kamil Mohammed emphasized the role on that occasions. Then the Minister of Trade stressed the importance of this meeting to strengthen the relations between the different foreign companies and the commerce institutions of Djibouti in many files, especially in trade. And the Prime Minister, Mr. Abdulkadir Kamil Mohammed, also emphasized his role on the crucial role of the international Organizations of Commerce, which has established a rule-based trading system and clear principles for promoting growth and development worldwide. The government of the Republic of Djibouti support the central role in the management and promotions of this trade. The third night meeting of the Bureau of the Comesa Community and the Central Bank Governors opened this morning at Campiski Palace Hotel. Among the items on the agenda was a number of items, including an activities report of the Comesa Monetary Institute that had been raised by experts from the member countries of the committee, as well as administrative and budgetary issues related to the functioning of the Comesa Monetary Institute. Comesa's initiatives are to integrate the economies of the region by creating a large viable market in which goods and services and people move freely in the future, in order to allow an expansion of intra-regional trade. The Minister of Urbanization and Environment, in collaborations with the regional organizations for the conservation of the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden environment, had organized training for the improvement of skills and capacity national frameworks on the mandatory audit program of member state of the International Maritime. The workshop is chaired by the environmental manager Hussein Rirash, PIRSCA representatives Dr. Salim, technical advisor of the Minister of Environment Mr. Adan Hassan, and the business manager maritime Mr. Ali Mire, international consultant and representative of different other departments. And now let's move on continental news. The government and rebels in Yemen have reached an agreement to exchange hundreds of prisoners before the opening of the peace talk in Sweden. Sources said Tuesday Hadi Haig, in charge of the issues of detainees in the Yemeni government, told AFP, the agencies of press, that the agreement signed this week would involve between 1,500 and 2,000 members of pro-government forces and between 1,000 and 1,100 Houthi rebels. The International Committee of the Red Cross has welcomed this agreement. In a statement, the UN envoy Martin has discussed on November 16 before the UN Security Council the possibility of reaching such an agreement and report progress in the negotiations. Here we arrive at the end of this news edition. Thank you for watching us. Have a good night and goodbye.